Hello and welcome back to Radio Free Urbanism, a podcast about urbanism
and stuff.
That was pretty spot on. Good job, guys. We got some stuff to talk about, a big one I need to talk about. It's about Doug Ford and his failure. And what else? We got some good stories in here, I think.
We got some stories about housing, and then I believe Sully has one more to talk about as well.
And I have a story where I'm going to show Ethan and Nick a map, and they're going to guess what it is.
I like that. That sounds like fun.
I do, too. It sounds like a fun new segment we might have on this show here.
I wasn't here last week, but I edited the podcast, and I was putting it up. And at the beginning, I was like, this sounds like Sully got his new mic and never tried it out. And then he's like, I just got this mic. I just pulled it out of the box. So we're hoping.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
We're hoping that this will be the best sounding episode of Radio Free Urbanism we've ever had.
It already sounds very crispy on my end, so...
Yeah, at least as good as we can get it without our former co-host Alex Williams on the show, because he always had just the crispest audio. It was always so clean. I was like, how'd you do it? He won't tell me. This trade secret.
Secrets. Keeping it until he becomes councilman, so...
Yeah. That's what makes him a politician.
Good for him. Anyway, the first story we got here, this is coming out of Ontario from Toronto. It's a story we've talked about quite a bit, but it's been some movement. So this is having to do with Toronto's bike lane situation. So an Ontario court has deemed the province's plan to remove 3 major Toronto bike lanes unconstitutional. All we have to say to that is one of these for you, Mr. Ford. Like this was like such good news on Wednesday when it popped up. I was like, oh yeah. Like, I'm so glad it went this direction. I was expecting it to. With all the evidence that went into it, like, how could it go a different way? How could it go a different way? So if you don't know the story, basically, the premier of the province came in and was like, you know what? We're taking away all these bike lanes. 3 major bike routes in the city, something like 19 kilometers of bike lanes. And a lot of people protested. Cycle Toronto protested. They basically went to the court, sued the province, saying this is unconstitutional. It's in violation of a charter right. It's going to be dangerous, and it's not going to fix traffic. So basically what happened is the judge ruled that Cycle Toronto and others have established that removal of the targeted bike lanes will put people at increased risk of harm and death, which engages the right to life and security of the person clause within the whole Charter of Rights in Canada. So basically what's happened, I love what the judge has said. He's highlighted expert evidence on this matter. So they've established that bicycle lanes, and in particular separated and protected lanes, reduce motor vehicle traffic congestion by providing an alternative method of transportation that is safer for all users of the road. And the evidence shows that restoring lanes for cars will not result in less congestion, as it will induce more people to use cars, and therefore any reduction in driving time will be short-lived, if at all, and lead to more congestion. I'm just like, the judge just like, good job, just laying it out, just facts,
urbanism
facts.
In court. That's awesome.
So
I mean, just reading the data, looking at it, and then actually using it to come up with a reasonable conclusion. Who would have thought in this day and age?
Like, yeah, Mr. Ford, not only did the opponents of this come up with this information, but your own people were like, this is the data on this information, like this is what it is. And they was like, no, let's just ignore that. The people voted me in to take away the bike lanes, so we have to do that. Just populism 101. Anyway.
Do you think they did vote him in? Was he talking about that during the campaign?
Yes.
Or
yes.
Was that like a big part of it, or was it just like a side thing that he would throw in there?
It's one part of it, for sure. There's a lot of basically pandering to drivers, taking away fees. Some of the only things that drivers alone pay for, just taking those away, basically not having to do a registration fee anymore. But yeah, bike lanes were definitely a talk, for sure. And it's incredible to see that that's something that people actually care about, and removing bike lanes. But it all comes to that. We've talked about this before, about common sense and just using in the misguided intuition to end up at these places where people think it's obvious. It's not obvious. It's not obvious that, removing a bike lane would help. It's not. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. It's not obvious that having a bike lane would help traffic. That's what I meant to say. Sorry.
So does this almost sets the precedent then that, like, if the province builds a lane, it's permanent?
More or less. It would seem. Yeah. The thing is,
even if they remove a lane, they would have to have some sort of adequate replacement.
Yeah. The thing is, they're appealing this, so let's spend more taxpayer money fighting this. And B, they still have that whole situation where basically if you want to build a bike lane in Ontario, in any city, and it's going to take away a lane for cars, you have to ask the province, pretty please, can we build this bike lane? Like, that's the situation that they're still in. So that's just a for now thing. Hopefully that'll change in the future with the next election, like 4 years away now, but we'll see. But there was a quote after this appeal from Cody McRae, founder of Balance on Bloor, which is just such a stupid name. Balance on Bloor, aka Just Cars, a nonprofit group of residents and businesses, people that want the bike lanes removed from Etobicoke section of street in favor of lanes for motorized traffic, said he's happy the province is appealing. And he said, I think it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever for the judge to say it doesn't cause congestion. I would welcome him to come to Bloor in Etobicoke and take a look at it. So basically, Cody, what you're saying is, Judge, this doesn't make any sense. We have anecdotal evidence right here. It's right here. Take the anecdotal evidence and take that to the bank, because that'll get you far. Like, come on, Cody. Smarten up, man. This is bullshit. Sorry.
Well, yeah, so my eyes are seeing this thing, so clearly it must be true.
That is science. That's how science works.
That's how research works. That is peer-reviewed research. I am viewing it and appearing it happen in front of me.
Man says traffic is bad in big city. Like, yeah, any successful city has bad traffic.
Did this guy live near this street before the bike lane? Because I can guarantee pretty much that when that one extra lane existed, there was still traffic at rush hour. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And guys, the emergency vehicles can't fit because now there's a 6-foot bike lane on the side of this road.
Right.
They literally can't fit down the other 3 lanes of the road there. It's literally impossible.
Yeah. So wow. I'm happy about this decision. Hopefully it sticks, and hopefully this appeal fails. Like, they've already spent $100 million putting these bike lanes. They're talking about spending $50 million more to remove them. It's just such a massive waste of taxpayer money.
$50 million?
Yeah.
To remove like 3 bike lanes?
It's like 19 kilometers of bike lanes. It's a lot of work.
My gosh.
And they're separated too with curbs and stuff. I mean, we're not talking about paint.
Yeah.
I mean, still, regardless, that sounds like a lot of money to remove.
The construction work just gets more and more expensive, I think, in general. It's getting crazy, yeah.
Wow.
Well,
for those of us who were not in Canadian grade school, can you remind us what charter rights are and why the judge was able to rule that? Do you know? Because I think in the U.S., bike lane removal, where there was one actually right near me, which we've talked about before in Culver City, that would never have anything to do with the Constitution, I don't think. So, I mean, I don't know what... I don't know if you know the Canadian context there.
I'd have to Google
CC
it.
Is those
read you the right to life and secure person or whatever the thing is.
Nick, you're telling me you haven't read the entirety of the Canadian Rights of Charters and Freedoms?
Sorry, we don't have ours like on display somewhere where you can go read it or anything. I don't think that's a thing.
I don't think we have a right to say. I just think we have a right to happiness. The pursuit of happiness.
Just the pursuit of happiness. That's right. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
But like, if you're in danger, like, screw you. I don't really know. I don't think we have an equivalent.
You can pursue happiness, but my God, if you try to achieve it, I mean,
yeah, exactly.
Let me read.
If your pursuit of happiness involves going down a bike lane, then screw you in the U.S. But
yeah, this is true. This is true. If you are trying to get around on a bicycle, you are literally the worst.
Right.
You're the worst type of person.
But never achieve.
Yeah.
How dare you not pay vehicle registration?
Oh, speaking of which, my friend, this totally came up naturally. I have a friend who's also an urban planner, and he's moving down to San Diego, and he said he was looking at different cities. He's not from there. And he saw that Vista had pretty good rents. And before I even could tell him, don't move there, they removed a bike lane. He said, but then I looked up stuff about Vista, and the first thing that came up was that they were removing a bike lane. He's like, I don't want to live there. So look, listen, Mayor, what was his name? Franklin? I think so.
Yeah.
Mayor of Vista, you just lost a renter, a taxpayer, because you're removing the bike lanes. So congrats.
Oh, thank God these gentrifiers are getting out of Vista. I'm so glad.
Ethan, our resident NIMBY. Okay. Do you have something to read, though, Nick?
Yes, I do. Excuse me. There's a couple key points from the Canadian Charter Rights and Freedoms. This is basically saying that, yes, the government, the right to life, what that means is that the government the people have the right is about not just the absence of death, but can also encompass preventing state actions that increase the risk of death, including barriers to healthcare. So it's basically saying, hey, government, you can't change things in a way that is going to make it worse for people. So in a way, if it all works out as it's the letter of the law, the government can only make things better and not worse. That's what it's supposed to do. So this is, I mean, it's in action. It's working. But the concern here is that Ford's going to use the notwithstanding clause, which is basically like an Uber card. I can do whatever I want. And then take out the bike lanes anyways, which would be insane. Like to overstep people's rights in Canada to just take out bike lanes. It's just like full blown culture war nonsense. Like it's dumb.
Why does he have that ability? Like, I don't even, what's that from?
I don't know. I'm not a legal expert here. Okay. I don't know, guys.
Sorry.
I appreciate asking
Nicholas
the questions.
Laporte, legal expert in Canada.
What did they teach you in civics in Canada? What do they talk about?
First past the post and why it's bad. And then everybody votes against that anyways, or any changes. That's what we learned. I don't remember. Okay, cool. Guys, you got to realize I'm 10 years off you guys from high school. Wow. I don't remember. Like, you see that TV show. It's like, am I smarter than a fifth grader? When you're like a teenager or like in your early 20s, you're like, yeah, I could nail this stuff. But when you get to your 30s, let me tell you, you'll probably lose.
Then.
You just,
all right.
You lose the unimportant information. And anyway, I don't want to get into this whole diatribe about practical knowledge, but we won't step there. Somebody want to start a story? Somebody get my voice off the radio right now.
Yeah, we'll get your voice off the radio immediately, Nick. No more words for you today. And our next story here comes to us from the state of Oregon. Sorry, I'm still learning. I'm still new to this state here. And we have some wonderful news that Oregon has decided that it was a mistake to let cities ban homes. This article comes to us. Sully actually shared this article with me before the show. Comes to us from the Sightline Institute, written by Michael Anderson. And it really kind of goes into depth about how Oregon has passed a couple of laws legalizing lot splits for starter homes and a bunch of other changes that have made housing more practical to build within the state of Oregon. Not just, for the city of Portland itself or Eugene, but laws that go throughout the state. And I think this is a really good conversation piece for talking about housing and really successful strategies on how to actually build more housing and allow for more, places for people to live in different living situations than just the single family home would accommodate. It's something that we in North America have really started noticing has been a major detriment to a lot of our housing stock.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so, a lot of other countries have seen this sort of better approach to housing when it comes to city planning as having a better top-down strategy, having, higher authorities actually deal with this type of zoning allotment for cities rather than kind of breaking it up by neighborhoods and letting the neighborhoods on smaller scales decide. We can see this in other nations such as Japan, Australia, and New Zealand that have all seen success with building new housing and allowing for more variety of housing to actually be built and allowing these neighborhoods to flourish with more than just single family homes.
Yeah, there's just so many restrictions in so many places that make it so much harder to build stuff. It's good to see those things stricken down, especially the idea of having pre-approved plans where it just makes the whole process of building a new home so much easier. Like, oh, we have this old lot. This house is decrepit. Let's tear it down. Hey, you got this plan for a fourplex? It's already ready to go. Let's go. Like, it's such a good idea.
Yeah, it makes a lot more sense in allowing people to do what they want with their property as well, too. Someone's got a single family home. They've got, a grandparent or a child who wants to come and move back there. They think about wanting to build an ADU for their house. In a lot of neighborhoods in the US and Canada, that's just not even an option that you can have. However, if you do allow for that option, you increase the amount of density in your neighborhoods twice over. It's really a simple way of actually being able to build up, more housing as well as increasing density, increasing demand, and improving, connections and improving, the allotment for transit and cycling infrastructure in certain neighborhoods. Lower density neighborhoods can't handle things like mixed use development. like the incredibly low density neighborhoods that we see out in, suburban America, especially suburban is the US in general, Canada to an extent too, but allowing this higher density allows a better justification for that mixed use commercial development, bike infrastructure, improved transit services that really can help make neighborhoods become more walkable and less car oriented.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it also goes back to a debate. Speaking of constitutional debates, because it's been now 103 years. 1922 was when the Supreme Court ruled that cities were allowed to have their own zoning codes. And there's been a debate. It's actually a debate. When I was at the Strong Towns Convention, I was invited to participate in a debate in front of all 300 or whatever attendees about whether it's a good idea to give those rights back to the state. And I argued that the answer was yes. But it is interesting because as much as it's good that urbanists see it as a very good thing, it's only a good thing so as long as the people at the state level agree with us in terms of urbanism too, right? And so the example that the anti-team gave is like, it's all fine and dandy when the state is saying you're allowed to build ADUs. But what about when, you have a state, the people arguing against me were from Georgia. And they're like, if it was up to the politicians in Georgia, they would open up all the forested land to more subdivisions. And they would say, we're increasing, that would be their version of increasing housing, right? So, and at the end of the day, that's kind of a good point. I don't really know. I think my conclusion was in states like California and Oregon, where politicians are being elected who have opinions more towards infill, lot splitting, ADUs, all that, it makes sense to give them more power. And maybe in states like Georgia, where they would just want to open up more land for subdivisions, it wouldn't be. I don't know. Seems kind of imperfect. What do you guys think?
I kind of see this almost east-west divide in the continent as well too, where you have a lot of these cities on the East Coast, especially in the South, where they just kind of see sprawl as, continuing the status quo and really just kind of continuing on this great North American prosperity tour of suburbanization. While a lot of cities on the West Coast, they're limited by a lot of different factors. Los Angeles, limited by its geography. San Francisco, limited by its geography. A lot of other cities as well, too. Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, Phoenix, all limited by geography or resources, have seen these changes, especially with their zoning. You see it in other cities, too, on the East Coast, but definitely more towards West Coast cities, especially. There has been, as well, a lot of pushback to this, but you do see that the YIMBY movement has kind of had its, almost like creation out of a lot of these West Coast cities, where these policies of more restrictive zoning have really kind of absolutely pushed living and affordability in these cities to the absolute brink. I mean, housing prices are significantly more expensive over in West Coast cities. So you do see this push coming from there. But yeah, as for allowing, I mean, honestly, we should really just sort of take the common sense proven solution of allowing for, gentle density in our suburban neighborhoods. But like, not everybody is going to agree with that, because where am I going to park in my neighborhood? People are always going to be worried about parking in their neighborhood.
Oh boy.
People are
Yes.
always going to be complaining about parking in their neighborhood. But yeah, I mean, like, it's really just a bad policy to continue this sprawl overall. I mean, I don't have to say this, I'm preaching to the choir here on that, but yeah, allowing our neighborhoods to actually change to adapt to the needs of the community is a good thing. Like, this is a good thing for our communities to allow someone to build a duplex or an ADU.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're seeing it a lot still. It's crazy how much we're not resisting it. Ben Durham, friend of the show, he released a video, I think a week or two ago. And it's about London, Ontario, where he lives, and the city boundaries expanding, which is how it's always been, right? You need more, you want to build more houses, you want to increase the tax base, you annex more land on the edge of the city, and you build more single family houses. But in London, they have been building more density, but a lot of it's on the fringes, where they build up these giant towers surrounded by parking lots. Which is, better than single family housing, I guess.
It's a very Canadian thing, too.
Yeah. And they are doing some better things on the inside, but he was doing what he could to kind of spread the word about, hey, we need to stop spreading the city. We need to stop sprawling. We can't just keep expanding the boundary. Eventually, this is just going to collapse on itself, especially in London. It's crazy. If you've never been there, it's one of the only cities in North America of its size that doesn't have a freeway, which is just wild. It's Vancouver and London, and that's it. But yeah, being constrained by geography is definitely a bonus. It's a blessing in disguise in a lot of ways. We see that here in Vancouver. We're completely locked. There's no more Vancouver that's happening. There hasn't been more Vancouver happening for decades before we were all born. But even spreading out where it is spreading into the lower mainland towards Washington, that land's going to fill up really quick. And it's basically some of the only farmland that's available in BC. It's like, do you really want to use up that precious land to build more single family homes? Some people think yes, but
yeah,
I'm working on a project in the Central Valley right now. So I spend a lot of today staring at Modesto. And it's so weird to me that like the Central Valley makes more money for California than anything else. As 1/5 of the nation's food comes from the Central Valley. And yet I haven't really heard much. Maybe it's going on, but I haven't heard much about like containing the cities. And they're starting to bleed together. Stockton, Modesto, Turlock, the suburbs are now like, a couple fields apart almost. And it's shocking to me, like because then what's the point of, if it just gets filled with some weird Central Valley mega city, a lot of the people who live there are there to work in farming industries anyway. So like, then what will that even be? But speaking of also state laws, this is not a official story I told you guys about beforehand. It's SB79 in California. Have you guys heard what's going on with this?
Tell us. Let's go.
Yeah, inform
okay.
us.
SB79, guys. This has got to be, forget your ADUs, forget your gentle density, Ethan. This has got to be the most radical state zoning law that I've ever seen. Of course, authored by Scott Wiener. Praise
They
be
have been going
to the prophet.
insanely crazy in
Praise
the
the
state of Cal.
So
Newsom has just been signing every housing bill that's been coming to his desk. So
yeah, he's changed. I mean, that's kind of what he is, a chameleon, to be honest. But so
Yeah.
here's SB79 for you. If you have a high quality transit stop, which is defined as either rail that comes every 30 minutes or less, the headways of every 30 minutes or less, or you have a BRT, and that's not actually defined by frequency, it's defined by physical layout. So if it's a fully separated BRT, within a quarter mile of each station, 8-story mandatory minimum zoning, period. 8
stories.
8 stories.
Period. Now, within a half mile, 5-story minimum. Okay. This is like insane because, the D line, which I talk about every week, it's like about to open. And because LA, which if you look, anyone who has never been here, like just look at Google Earth, LA is a city of strands, right? Where all of the growth for the last 60 years, since it was filled up, the valley was filled up, all of the growth has been focused on corridors. So it's a city of corridors and neighborhoods.
Uh-oh.
And look at Wilshire, for instance. So, but this is a circular 1/4 of a mile. And so if it gets passed, all these new stations that LA, if you look at LA, just redid their zoning code last year. And all the urbanists at UCLA said it was, Shane Phillips and the others said it was super lame because it was once again just a reaffirmation of focus on the corridors. They just upzoned all the corridors. This is going to like completely change Los Angeles city planners and city hall's conception of their own zoning code and of their own city, because nobody in LA thinks of neighborhoods as circular. They think of them as linear along these corridors. And so that's going to be pretty wild. The one thing I'm afraid of, and so I want to hear your guys' take on this, that someone brought up to me because I was super excited about SB9. And I'm like, I should write to my state senator to tell her to vote for it. But they're like, wait a minute. If you go to the 2020 BRT vision study that LA Metro put out, they identified 15 corridors that they would like to have be BRTs at some point, hopefully by 2050. We don't have any BRTs yet in LA. So then the question is...
Oh, the G line.
Oh, the G line. Okay. Yeah, I guess that counts as a BRT, even though it doesn't run on the street. I'm thinking about a street-centered BRT, not a rail corridor conversion, to be fair. But yeah, you are right. The fight was already going to be, we're taking away car lanes to build this thing. But now there's going to be an additional fight where like one of the corridors marked out is a block south of where this house is that I'm in right now. which has looked exactly the same since the year it was built in 1910. So like now will LA not build BRTs because the neighborhoods where the stations are will not want to get upzoned to eight. We're talking about from 2 stories to 8 stories. Like, so actually could it be a housing increaser, but a transit dampener is basically the question. I don't know.
It could be. Yeah, I'm sure you'll get some
Yeah.
pushback when that goes forward. When you're like, hey, let's plan this new transit extension, and then there's going to be definitely some pushback. But it's not a matter of like, hey, we built this transit here. Now immediately you have to build 8 stories, right? It's just upzoned.
No, it's just zoning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It could be, but I
So
don't know.
everything already existing would be grandfathered in.
Yeah. It's not like
Yeah,
you have to
that's how the
destroy
zoning-
everything.
You don't have to destroy your house, but you'll definitely end up with weird situations where you'll have like a neighborhood of homes and then like an 8-story building on the first person that decided to sell.
That's just the way
Yeah.
it is. Go to any downtown anywhere. You'll see a few of those
Right.
examples where there's a house that was built 150 years ago surrounded by towers. And
Right.
it looks weird, but it's kind
I
of
think
cool.
it looks cool.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like up. No, but I do think
Yeah.
like the neighborhood I'm in, they will say no BRT, please, no thank you, because now that means you're upzoning our neighborhood.
I mean,
So,
isn't your neighborhood already within half a mile of the metro?
no, not where I am. It's more than half a mile. So, yeah.
I wonder
checked.
if this would apply to like the J line. You know, now that I think
Ooh.
about it,
Although
because
that's
it is
really
technically corridor
freeway.
BRT,
It's freeway running though.
but it's still on a road.
Right. So, but I'm saying most of that 4th of mile would be inside of a freeway, is what I'm saying. So
That
like
is fair.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about the section that goes into like San Pedro and like.
Yeah. No, that's what would happen.
How much is
all-
housing in LA? What's if I'm like, hey, can I get a single family home? How much is that? How much are we talking?
1.2 million, probably at least.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good.
I mean, it depends on. It also depends on what neighborhood you're in. Like in the neighborhood, anywhere between Hancock Park and Santa Monica, you're looking more at 3 million now.
Okay.
So, and then if you go into South LA, which is just like very poor quality housing and neighborhoods and economically very depressed, I mean, maybe you could get away with something in the 900,000s. Maybe. I bet the cheapest house in all of LA would probably be no less than 750. I would be shocked.
There are accounts that post like the cheapest house listed in LA. It's hilarious.
They're probably like they're probably like underneath freeways or
There was one that was like it was like weird. It was like actually like built in onto like the side of like one of the like canals in the city.
okay. Oh, you mean in Venice?
No, not in Venice. It was like actually like on like one of like the river canals in the city. Like one of the river channels. It was weird.
Oh, yeah, no, that is pretty weird because they're just like concrete. But yeah, I'm reading the text of the law just to make sure that I have it right. It's 8 stories adjacent to the stop, 6 stories within a 1/4 of a mile, 5 stories between 1/4 and 1/2 of a mile. Okay,
That is solid.
so
That is solid.
It's pretty like what's funny too is it's being written by Bay Area people, and the Bay Area has a lot more transit like as of now. So in their mind, they're rezoning around existing transit. But what's crazy is in LA, there isn't any like other than the J and G lines. Yeah, like there's all these planned BRT lines, which would be wild.
This sounds like Scott Wiener trying to piss off everybody in Sunset.
Yes.
In like Outer Sunset. This sounds exactly like it's doing that because it sounds like it plays right into like the Muni Metro, like
Oh, yeah.
like the Judah line and the Terrible line.
Yeah. Well, actually, I don't know if that's high enough quality transit. I would think so.
It
That
runs
would
every
count.
15 minutes, so
Okay, so then yeah, it's gonna be. Well, and it already passed either the Senate or the State House. I don't know which one, but it has passed one of them, and now they're arguing about it in the other one. So, yeah.
Guys, I'm just so bummed that I didn't get a chance to visit LA in the springtime.
Why are you bummed?
I wouldn't be. Yeah,
Just because I want to see it for my own, just with my own 2 eyes.
Wow.
And I do want to go to Long Beach. Just because it's ranked so highly on the bike map or whatever.
Oh, it is?
Bike score.
is it?
It's in the top 10, guys. which
Wow,
says
we
there's
are in
probably
the
some
trenches. My goodness.
flaws with bike score. That's what we're looking at. But I wanted to go investigate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, guess what? Ferry service also counts as a place to upzone around. I love that. That is such a Bay Area
Marin
thing.
County is not going to love that.
No. Oh my gosh.
Maybe
but
not,
ferry
though.
service, they only get 7 stories adjacent to the stop. Who comes up with this? Like,
All
why
right, but
7 and 8?
Think about a 7-story building being built in like Sausalito
Holy cow.
or like
You know what?
Tiburon.
I think the people in those areas support transit. They just don't support riding it. They just like they want other people to ride it. Like
Hey, you know what? Larkspur could be like the peak of like urban development.
Yeah.
Rail and ferry boats. Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Wow.
Honestly,
It's worth,
Oh,
by
man.
the way, for anyone who ever visits San Francisco, it's worth staying in Oakland so that you get to take the ferry every morning to the city and see the view. That's like
it is really
totally
nice.
worth
That
it.
is true. Yes.
I
Yeah.
stayed last time I was there.
Stay
the
in
cheapest
Richmond.
hotel, or Richmond. I've stayed in Richmond.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could. You can
The,
take the ferry to downtown every day.
You can also take BART from Richmond.
That's true.
The cheapest hotel in the Bay Area. I found it. Okay, it's right across from the ferry station, Jack London Square. It's called the Jack London Inn, and the reason it's the cheapest hotel in the Bay Area is because the Amtrak trains. There's a 3-block stretch where the trains randomly go down the middle of the road.
Right?
I don't know how this ended up. It's like a normal residential.
So the
street.
road was actually built around the trains. If you didn't
so
know
you know
that.
about it.
Yes,
And so the
yes, I've been there
hotel-
quite a few times. I have some video I can show.
Yeah, please do.
please,
I was
yeah.
going to
It's
look this
great.
up.
It's great.
The
It's
hotel
great. I have to share
is
this.
literally the hotel front door is like maybe 15 feet from the Amtrak main line, like tracks. So the entire hotel shakes every time a train goes by. So nobody wants to stay there. But hey, it was super affordable. It was like $80 a night, maybe less. I don't remember what it was. But
Well, we're currently seeing rates for $62 a night. So
That's a steal.
absolutely.
yeah, that's pretty crazy. I've stayed in hostels in San Francisco. It's not the worst experience.
I do have a small story while you're looking that up.
Yeah.
I was
Go ahead.
I was in Richmond. This was a couple years ago, and there's a Rosie the Riveter National Historic Park, and there's a little museum there. It's really cool. Basically highlighting all the work people did in the docks during the Second World War in that area. But while I was there was a Japanese American guy who was in the internment camps in California when he was a kid. So he basically told his story. He worked for the military afterwards as an interpreter, and wow, it was really cool. It was a cool story. Anyway,
No,
we
that
got
is
some
really
video
cool.
here.
Here's
Yeah,
some
well,
of our video. For all of us
So-
who are listening to this, we are going to have a train coming down the street in the middle of downtown Oakland.
And you're standing next to the hotel. It's like right behind you, basically.
So they built this road around the rail. This
Why
isn't
did
just
they-
it's not a streetcar. I was expecting
No.
a streetcar. Oh
no,
my
no,
god.
no. This is the train. It's like the train that goes all the way down.
Oh,
To
and
San Diego.
and freight runs on this.
Yes.
Oh
I
my
saw that
God.
too. It's
So
just-
this is one of the Capital Corridor trains going by here. This is a regional that runs from San Jose to Sacramento. There also are trains that run from Oakland to why am I blanking on it? Oakland to Bakersfield on the San Joaquins that also shares that track. And the
Wow.
Coast Starlight that
That's
runs
so
from
cool.
Los Angeles to Seattle runs on
I
that
love
track.
that there's not even a fence, and like also, why did they put the road around it then?
I
Yeah.
have no clue.
What the heck happened there?
Maybe it was just an industrial area in the past and just slowly
It was
grew
an
around
industrial
it, right?
area in the past.
It must
Yes.
have. Yeah, that happens.
Because it still runs through the port of Oakland.
Right.
And then it kind of like hooks north towards why am I blanking on it? The big bike city that's kind of like tucked in Emeryville.
Emeryville, yeah. Which, by the way, Emeryville has one bus, and the name of their transit agency is called the Emery-Go-Round. Like Emery-Go-Round. Like it's I don't know how they want you to pronounce it. Emery-Go-Round? Emery-Go-Round?
Emery-Go-Round?
I thought that was cute.
I thought there was also AC Transit that runs there, but yeah.
No, it does. I'm saying the Emeryville
Oh, yeah.
Transit. They have the one bus called the Emery.
Does it take Clipper?
I
That's
don't
that's
know.
a question.
Yeah, I rode it, and it was almost like a nice van. It wasn't even like a bus when I rode it.
Let's see. The Emery Go Round is a last mile shuttle service provided by Emeryville Transportation Management Association to connect employees, residents, and visitors of Emeryville.
Right.
Got blanked up there. Yeah, it's just a little it's a little what you call it, minibus that runs
Right.
that route.
And does it go round though?
Let's see. I believe it does. It does go round. Actually, there's 2 routes on the Emery Go Round.
Oh, wow.
There's the H and then the SP.
That is such bad naming. What the heck?
Is there like an
Basically, the red and the purple.
Okay. They didn't keep up with like the carnival theme. Like they called it a merry-go-round, and then they should have called the routes like the horse, and the unicorn or something.
Missed
to do with the
Now
opportunity.
they do
Completely.
run every 15 minutes from 5:45 a.m. to about 9 p.m., which is a
Wow.
lot better than you would think for a little shuttle service like this. So good job, Emeryville. You've got most of your city covered by these weird little people shuttles.
Pretty based city.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
I didn't realize where it was located. I thought it was in like some small town somewhere. It's literally just like in Oakland.
It is literally just this tiny little community between Oakland and Berkeley.
Yeah.
Classic California municipality borders. Just
What's the weirdest one? LA's it looks pretty weird, isn't
I
it?
mean, we were talking about Vista a couple weeks ago. That was pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
Vista looked like the borders looked like they got punched a lot. Like I said, Santa Barbara, to always mention Santa Barbara, but it is the only one with the crazy shoestring border. If you think that's
San
weird.
Jose is pretty awful too.
Okay.
Yeah,
The most
San
normal
Jose is
one
pretty bad.
San Francisco. Oh, okay. Modesto. Okay, there's
Oh,
Modesto
yeah.
over here. And then all the way over here, like maybe 30 miles away, I don't know, maybe 20 miles away, there's a random exclave that's also Modesto. That's really big. And it's a bunch of fields and a wastewater treatment plant. And they're not connected at all.
Oh yeah,
Which I
there
thought
it
was
is.
super weird. Yeah, and there's a state highway that goes through the exclave. So it's actually 2. Is it an enclave or an exclave? I think it's an
It's an
exclave.
exclave, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
So that's pretty weird, and I don't know how that was allowed.
So when you look at San Jose, I'm sure somebody could figure it out, but I've made a straight line from southeast to northwest where you could enter, you go in a straight line and you could enter and leave San Jose 5 times. It's possible.
Very cool.
Wow.
Okay. Look up Modesto and see if you can. I think you can do more there. If you start, especially if you start.
I
with
mean,
the
you
weird
can do a
exclave.
minimum of 4 if
Oh,
you
yeah,
do
Modesto's.
the weird exclave.
Yeah,
Here, let's
exactly.
get this on map on screen
Yeah,
here.
that sounds great. People need to see this.
This is
People
why
do need to see this.
We need a full
This is
episode
what
of
we
weird city boundaries.
Okay. This is because this is not oft discussed. By the way, just to bring this back to urbanism for 2 seconds, what really sucks about these exclaves and enclaves, if you do Google Street View, you'll see it. The sidewalks and bike infrastructure either end or begin. So like there's random, enclaves that people live in where there's just no sidewalk, and the county doesn't really care about them because they live in the surrounded by some other city, and so that's actually kind of a really nasty side effect. Yeah, look at this.
Honestly, see, this is exciting. Canada's city borders are so boring because they're just so predictable. It's square. Somebody's got to have one in Canada.
See how there's no sidewalk in the county part? But
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
sidewalk see what I mean? Yeah. So it kind of just like sucks to not. Like even right there, it's on the city side there's sidewalk, and on the county
It's
side.
okay.
there's
It's okay. This bus stop has a tiny little bit of sidewalk right here, apparently. Oh my gosh, that is so much worse when you go into Maps view.
yeah.
It looks like the
And-
road's being eaten away on one side.
That's awful.
By the nothing.
This is also 2009 though, so
What?
it's it hasn't gotten much better, but there is a little bus island.
Okay.
How did
So
we
is
get
that-
here? What are we doing?
And it's sad because like the people who live on that county side probably like if you ask most people like where do you live, they don't know if they live in the county or the city. That's my experience anyway. So they're probably wondering why if they vote, why they don't get ballots for city stuff.
Right.
Very unfair. Oh, you know, another weird one is Oakdale.
Oakdale.
Oh my gosh. San Jose's weirder though.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
pretty
Oakdale's weird. Oakdale has like a big, if you look on the left, there's like this row of houses between two streets that they decided to not have in the city.
Oh, this is weird.
Yeah, isn't that?
This must have been incorporated, or this must have been like developed before the city could ever claim that.
And those houses look nicer and bigger than the other ones, so who knows?
Because this all around it is just tract housing.
Right. It's like a weird finger.
All right. Do we have another story? We're going to the questions
And then
now.
look at these exclaves. Okay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, the airport. That makes sense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so we're gonna have a whole episode, guys. If the viewers demand it in the comments, we will have a weird city borders episode where we're gonna outdo each other.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have more news stories? We're going to go. We got some listener mail. What are we doing here?
Oh, we do. We have what is this map? Even though we've already been staring at a map.
Let's go.
I am going to share my screen now, which I haven't done this episode.
That was an excellent little transition from our housing story to
great segue.
What is this map? Little bit long drawn out, but still an excellent segue nonetheless.
Oh yes. Here, let's see. Why won't it let me share? It will not let me share. There it is. Okay.
We'll get there, guys.
There it is.
Okay. Got a full screen.
Here's your
to
map.
see what we're looking at here.
Oh yes.
So we've got a map. It's a heat map.
Okay, we got Chicago and New York.
Yeah. We got that. What does this represent, though?
Mm-hmm. What are these? Ask me if you'd like to zoom in to anything in particular.
No. Well, this makes for terrible radio, but
okay.
Well, here I'll describe what they're saying.
Yeah.
There's Chicago's on the left, and as I describe it, I might help you out a little bit because of the patterns. And New York is on the right. The backgrounds are dark. And there are different colors which appear to be outlining the streets. And they go from pink to orange to yellow. And on the Chicago map, the most yellow is in the downtown, while the suburbs are more pink with orange in between. And the same, New York is a little bit more noisy, but definitely outer Queens and stuff is a bit more pink than
Wait a minute.
Manhattan.
Is this a sidewalks map?
No. Here's a little clue for you. These are points, not segments, which you can see if you look, a little bit more closely at the
benches.
Chicago one. No. Sorry, it's not higher resolution as I zoom in here.
I don't know. I have no idea.
All right, are you ready to find out?
Street lamps?
Inform us.
Pedestrian crossing distances.
Oh.
Yes, so
how far you have to go from each point?
Yes, how far you have to cross the street, which is pretty cool. Okay. So at crosswalks, I guess is the thing. So it's this big long study, which the study itself is just the creation of this data set. And the point is that other studies and other research groups will now be able to use it because this was never really available before. One interesting thing, though, that they did talk about in their discussion is that they found a strong correlation to the age of a neighborhood and the pedestrian crossing distance. So the older neighborhoods had shorter distances and the newer neighborhoods had longer ones, which kind of makes sense because the standards have changed to become more car friendly, as well as accommodate gigantic fire trucks as fire codes have come in. So, but I thought it was interesting that they used, most of the paper was just describing this crazy mathematical AI model that I didn't understand, but I liked the map.
No, it's a cool map, and honestly, the map looks cool in itself, just with the colors and everything. It's something you want to put up on your wall. It almost looks like I don't even know what it's called. Some of that retro futuristic music style that people are doing now, the neon stuff.
It almost looks like it's like it almost like weirdly looks like it could have been like a color coded dot matrix display kind of thing, but
yeah. And here's to give them credit. The study was called Scaling Pedestrian Crossing Analysis to 100 U.S. Cities via AI-Based Segmentation of Satellite Imagery by Marcel Moran et al. at NYU.
Who's et
Very
al?
cool. Et al is what you say when you don't want to say the other person's names.
Yeah.
That is a cool little shortening.
It translates to and others.
And they show, how they had this thing calculate the crossing distances and all that kind of stuff. And I'll show you where that map came from. There's the map.
So what do we gather from this map? What are we saying about Chicago versus New York? What's the consensus there?
So they said in the maps of both Chicago and New York, clusters of shorter crossings are evident throughout, often separated from one another by wider arterial corridors exhibiting longer crossings.
New York's just got
and they say,
way more
wider
crossings.
Yes, it does. Viewed at the scale of an entire city, crossing distance exhibits two spatial signatures: clusters, which represent neighborhoods, where crossing distance is similar throughout, and corridor effects, relating to specific arterials, where crossing distance is nearly uniform along a stretch of road. And then they said, So they said there's intercity and regional comparisons. Shorter crossing distances are clustered in the Northeast and Midwest, particularly in Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana, and longer crossing distances are far more prevalent in the Southwest and West Coast, especially in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Arizona, Southern Nevada, Southern California. And, this is interesting, because I didn't notice this line before. Toledo, Ohio has the shortest median crossing distances overall, and North Las Vegas the longest. Okay, that I would expect.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. So now...
Yeah, that's where you start getting countdown timers that are like 47 seconds,
Right. And... and this is the other interesting thing. Comparing median crossing distance based on cities' year of incorporation highlights that older American cities tend to exhibit shorter median crossing distances, whereas younger cities have longer ones. So I think what this is waiting for, because that's kind of where this study ends, this is now waiting for someone to take this data set and compare it to pedestrian injuries and fatalities and find a correlation there. This is sort of to be handed off.
Awesome.
But
yeah, that makes sense.
Whoa.
Infinite podcast. Yeah.
I love that. All right, we got some listener mail here. Let's get to this now. By the way, this is from one of our Patreon members, Ren. And you can join Patreon for how much is it again, guys? As little as
$1. One United States dollar.
$1. You can join our Discord. And you can talk to us there. We have a little community of people who like to share stories and talk about urbanism, and it's actually a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it. And you can also send us messages on Radio Free Urbanism at gmail.com. But please, we love the messages, but please don't send like essays. We can't read them here. It's too long. I'm sorry. But this one's from Ren, one of our Patreon members, and Ren says, and this is condensed a bit, so this is in reference to episode 82, where we were talking about helmets, and I think I was explaining that there's reasons, or that a mandatory helmet law basically prevents people from getting on the bike. Not prevents them, but discourages people by getting on bike. Discourages people from getting on the bike through different means. For example, just like not wanting to mess up your hair, and how stupid that seems. It doesn't matter if that person doesn't get on the bike, then they don't. But anyway. Ren says, I was listening to episode 82 and the helmet example really hit home. On my campus, bikes, scooters, and skateboards are everywhere, but helmets are rare. One friend went over his handlebars, didn't hit his head, and still won't wear a helmet. Another got a concussion from an e-scooter fall and was riding again, helmetless, before she healed. A third shattered their elbow in a top-tier protected bike lane and still refuses to wear one. When I talk to these people, one of the things I hear repeatedly from these smart and engaged students is that they think they're lame. Helmets are lame, and that no one uses them. Obviously, no one wants to be the only one, and so on. I think more than anything, it is hugely a cultural issue. Do y'all have any ideas on how we can fix that, either in the campus setting or more generally? Is there a way we can mobilize communities to see that is actually cool and sick to do anything that helps keep you out of the ER? Yes, that's a great question.
The biggest problem I think you got to deal with is that safety is kind of lame. Unfortunately, like being like safety first is never the coolest thing, especially when it comes to just getting from point A to point B.
Yeah.
People are going to prioritize speed and convenience over everything else.
Yeah.
And really, I mean, like, what can you do? Like, I'm someone who's fishing for answers on that one as well. I mean, we want riders to be safe.
Mm-hmm. I thought about this and I was thinking about smoking cessation. Like, how did we get to that place? And we what we did was we showed that smoking was dangerous. We put the markings on the cigarette packages, the warning labels, and now on the cigarettes it writes on there. They've got like a little message on the cigarette themselves. But you don't want to do that with like micromobility. That's not a good idea. Wear your helmet because you can die. Then you just get people riding.
But that's also not true, right? Like in the Netherlands, there's almost no helmet use, but it's the safest country to bike in.
It is. That being said, they have like proportionally a lot more head injuries from falls on bikes compared to other. Right. But that's just proportional because they have more people riding bikes. Right. So it is like, should people in the net, like we've talked about this before, but should people wear helmets? Yeah, you should. But if that's at the cost of less people riding and then less safer overall, then no. I don't know the answer to this. My wife hounds me about wearing a helmet. I usually wear it like every morning when I go to work. When I come home from work, I'm wearing my helmet. But if I go out to hang out with some friends, I don't often wear it. I just don't. I don't know. I don't want to carry it into the pub or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, Ethan's thinking about it. My a good friend of mine
thinking about getting my helmet.
Oh no.
Podcast safety.
Mine's outside. Podcast safety, very important. You never know what could happen. Friend of mine was going to UCSB. I was still in high school, and I asked him, like, why don't you wear a helmet? You're going all over the place, because I think he had fallen down as well. And he said, you don't want to wear a helmet because then you look like a goober.
It's true.
And that is a line that has stuck with me and my family ever since then. We often will reference when I put on my helmet, you look like a goober. It was just his choice of noun was so random. But that is
all right,
the attitude.
I guess we got a new tagline for the show along with retractable bollards.
3 goobers. You're going to look like a goober.
Bunch of goobers.
Bunch of goobers.
I Googled goober and I got a peanut or a foolish person.
To give you context, this was like a blonde, long hair surfer dude going to school at UCSB. So he's like, bruh, you look like a goober. Yeah, that's the context.
A foolish person. Throughout my dating career, I was set up with some goobers. That's the example of the sentence they had. I like it.
What? That's so formal sounding.
Dictionary. What are you going to do?
That's great.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know if there's an answer. I actually Googled this but it didn't give me any like good articles about this. It was mostly just being like, hey, this is the Netherlands. They don't wear helmets, and went down that track. I was like, no, I want to see if there's like a study where you could do it in a way that actually helped people.
I think there's two things in the way too, is that like we want to promote cycling and micromobility use, but we also don't want to have those people getting hurt. And it's really kind of balancing that out and kind of thinking about what's safer in general and really kind of picking the safer road. And I think having more people on bikes is the safer option rather than choosing helmets. And I think that we really have to sort of, hit that critical mass first before we can start thinking about helmet safety.
Yeah. And it should be encouraged. It's like being more and more encouraged in the Netherlands, for example, but they're not making it mandatory because it does help. But again, mandatory helmet laws just suck ass. Totally horrible idea. But yeah, that's
Australia, boo.
Yeah. They go too far. You know what? A lot of people ask.
Sorry, boo.
Mate.
They're upside down.
Yeah, they didn't see that. That's great. Yeah. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, let's go to the next question here. Ethan, do you want to read this?
Yeah, so this one comes to us from friend of the show, Jen Hall. And she said, what is the average price floor LA? Bonus points if you share the number in Canadian dollars.
What does price floor mean?
Like the lowest, like what's the lowest you could pay for a house?
The lowest, like I said, I would be absolutely shocked if it's under $750. If you can find a house anywhere.
Let's see.
Clarified? Oh. Price. What's the average price for?
For a house. For LA.
Need more context.
Yes, average price for rent. Because I was looking at places to rent. It's pretty wild. I mean, you're probably going to be spending for a studio probably like at least $2,000 a month.
That seems
average price for LA. Well, I don't know if anyone's tried to buy LA, but it would be very expensive.
Let's see if there's anything under $500K for sale right now.
No way. No way. It would have to be
1 bed, 1 bath, 556
Where?
square feet.
Where?
$400,000.
We're talking about a single family
525
home.
South
I think
Ardmore
single family
Avenue.
home.
Oh, single family? Okay.
Oh yeah. No. I was going by single family. If you want to talk about studios, I'm sure you could buy a studio for like 500.
House. Oh,
Bonus
now
points.
we're really getting down to it. Let's see where
Okay.
this is.
See if my 750.
1 bed, 1 bath, $450,000, 924 square feet. Looks like it's just outside the arts district. It's only got 5 photos, and this definitely doesn't feel like a real listing, but
No, that's not real. In the arts district, there's no single family homes. That doesn't even make sense.
no, it's like kind of outside. I'll share my screen here.
Okay. Are we talking Boyle Heights? That's LA's oldest suburb, by the way, and used to be Jewish neighborhood. Jewish immigrant neighborhood.
It's like right over here. It's like right off the 10.
There's no what?
That's what I was
no
saying.
houses there.
I'm like, there ain't nothing.
That's
I
a
was about to-
literal. That's a warehouse district. That doesn't even make sense. Okay,
What is
that's
this?
not real either. What is that? A
No,
shipping
no
container?
way.
It's just
What
fake
the-
listings.
Yeah, because then they somehow scam money. I don't know exactly how. Oh boy.
This is
Yeah, but they're all going to be. I said they were all going to be in South LA. Whatever the cheapest thing is, which is not a desirable place to live, unfortunately.
400,000 for a 1 bed, 1 bath is insane, by the way.
I think that's insane.
Imagine
cheap.
owning a property bursting with potential in the heart of Los Angeles. This 1 bed, 1 bath probate sale is more than a home. It's a chance to bring your vision to life.
They have M dashes in
Whoa,
there too.
look at this interior, guys. What the? Look at the outside, so humble.
It's 1 bed, 1 bath.
And then the curtains.
Oh, God.
The pink,
It's less than
the
a
orange. Oh, a fuzzy. Look, this person has a plastic chair.
Oh,
Oh
God.
my
What?
god.
What are they doing?
Why
what
are there
decor
wigs?
is this? The pink
Hey,
the
bathroom-
over shades with. Is that navy or purple?
yeah, it's navy.
Hey,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just saying, if you sold this place for that asking price, you could get something reasonable in Las Vegas
Oh.
for that. So
And
I would say that
TV
was TV
from-
too high, except that it is in the
look at
bedroom.
this backyard. This is a beautiful backyard, by the way.
Oh
Jesus.
boy! You see why there's bars on the windows, guys? It's because the neighborhood it's in. Like,
So is
No
this
pictures of
like
the kitchen.
ghetto area? Like
yes, absolute worst crime.
It's not a great neighborhood to live in.
Worst air quality, worst. I mean, you name it, and it
That's
would be this.
unfortunate.
Which is sad. No, it's sad for the people that live there. I'm just being honest.
yeah.
Worst traffic deaths are always down there too.
Well,
There is one fake listing up in the valley.
There's no, that's not
$460,000.
overlooking a.
It's a
Tennis
condo,
court.
that's why.
That's okay as
um,
long as they don't playing paddleball all day long.
I was gonna say, yeah, the
Estimated
downside-
payment $3,500 a month. So yeah, that makes sense.
The downside is that tennis balls come through the windows all the time.
That's a bonus.
Free
Oh, there's
ball.
even like an
Yeah.
indoor basketball court at this place.
That
That's
is
terrifying.
so rad, though.
That is terrifying.
Why is that terrifying?
Look at this place.
That looks like it's attached to
murder
the
den?
back rooms. That's a back rooms
Yeah,
basketball
this looks like a backrooms basketball court. I mean, what can you do on this? You can shoot free throws. That's about it.
No, it's scary because if you like miss and throw towards the wall, it'll bounce right back towards you or your friend. Like it's gonna hit them in
You
the
know
That's
what?
an
That's
bonus.
actually perfect. Yeah, that's actually
Wear
a
a
bonus.
helmet.
You know what? Now you've sold me, Sully.
Wear a helmet.
I want it to be returned to me. That's the whole point.
All right, yeah, housing in LA not cheap, and by Canadian standards, probably about $1 million Canadian for the lowest.
Yeah.
All right,
definitely.
we got one more listener mail here at the bottom. So this is from the YouTube page from Eindhoven 2503 from the episode that Sully was a guest on. It's like 63 or 64 or something like that. And they said, maybe you should promote disability infrastructure for seniors. Those could be used as cycleways too. It should please some of the NIMBYs. What do you guys think about this little comment?
You could say disability infrastructure all you want. The NIMBYs are not going to be pleased.
I don't care. Yeah, but I think the idea is making the whole
Oh yeah,
bicycle lanes, active travel lanes, or I don't know. Could you call them disability lanes? Like we've talked about
seems
this
weird.
before about how to change the name of cycle lanes. That's a tough cookie to crack.
Call them Trump freedom lanes. And then That'll solve the problem.
Honestly.
I think greenways just have a better overall ring to them in terms of marketability. But yeah, I mean, like,
But then the transit people get upset because that's like a corridor they could use for light rail or something.
Thanks, Nick, for pointing that out.
where's
No,
that
I don't
happening? New York?
I don't know. Is that happening somewhere?
Yes, no, it's happening in Atlanta with the Beltline.
I heard it happened in Victoria at some point.
Oh, it's also that is correct. But yeah, the big example that I know is the Beltline. They had already set aside money to put light rail down.
They'd even set the right of way there too.
Right. And then because people were using it as a trail, I mean, there was also a trail aspect built, so it wasn't like they were illegally using it as a trail. But what's funny is, there were NIMBYs when they wanted to turn it into a trail 10 years ago, and then they turned it into a trail. It became an absolute gem of the neighborhood. And then, but in that original charter, they're like, we're only not putting in light rail in now because we need to wait until there's enough money. Oh, now there's enough money. Nobody wants the light rail next to their precious trail because trains are loud and ugly. And also, the strip where the train is supposed to go is grass because it's Atlanta, so it rains a lot. And our kids play on that grass, and you're going to get rid of that grass. And so they ended up putting the light rail somewhere else.
I'm sorry, trains are ugly? That's just, you can't take that person seriously. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry.
It was streetcars too. It wasn't even trains.
Yeah. So...
And it's not like there's a really good example of a trail being right next to trains somewhere in the South. It's not like the Charlotte Rail Trail exists or anything.
No. That's a great example, though.
No, that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist.
It does go to show, though, like NIMBYs, it's so interesting to me. Like, once something becomes one thing, if you give it, people's memories are super short. They'll fall in love with whatever that thing is. And then that's where they want to lock in history or their city for like the rest of time, which, because there was a time only 50 years ago, my house didn't exist. And I'm sure the neighbors didn't want it to get built. But now that it's there, it's part of the neighborhood character. So now my neighbors don't want us to change our house, and build an ADU in the front of it or something.
That's standard. Have you guys been to Atlanta?
No.
I have not.
No, me
been
neither.
in the airport.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Does that count?
Trees outside
Does that count?
were very green. No, I don't count airport visits as having been somewhere.
I've been to LAX. That doesn't count.
No. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I got to go to Japan after, so it was all like good memories for me. I don't know.
Okay, but you still had to torture yourself with Los Angeles International Airport. So
Yeah, fair enough. I don't have any bad memories. Nothing. No.
Oh, you didn't land at the totally separate terminal.
No, I walked literally like 20 minutes to my next connection, so it was good.
Nice.
Anyway.
Nice.
Yeah, where are we in the show now? I think we're near the end. I'm so pooped. Can you hear my voice? I can barely, I'm trying so hard to talk.
We've hit the hour
here.
mark. We're kind of near the end here. We just covered the last of the listener mail. So, yeah, I think we're kind of near the end here.
Do the thing. Unless, Sully, do you have something?
Do the thing? Yeah, Sully, do you have anything else to close us up?
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Looks like we're going to be wrapping this show up here today. Folks, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Radio Free Urbanism. It's always great to have everybody here, and if you want to support the show, you can do so by joining our Patreon for how much, guys?
$1.
$1.
Just $1,
or
starting
more.
at $1
or more.
Or more. We're not telling you just to stop at one, but if you do want to start at just one, you'll get access to our live show here every single week that we try to do that. We've been on a roll with Thursday at 6:30 Pacific, so we're hoping to keep that momentum going. But we also do have that show up on our Patreon as soon as we are done recording or within a couple of hours of it being done. We also do give you access to our Discord, which is a great place if you want to bother any of us. And that's all. You get that and a whole lot more you get with perks for just $1. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in to Radio Free Urbanism. Sully, where can the good people find you?
Sullyville, YouTube, and on Blue Sky.
You can find me at Nick the Door on YouTube, Instagram, and Blue Sky. How about you, Ethan?
And folks, you can find me over at Climate in Transit on pretty much any platform that's out there. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Radio Free Urbanism. And as always, train good, car bad.
2 wheels good.
2 feet fabulous.